Hey, how's it going? I am going to read some cards and I guess talk. Excuse me. Could you please take a look at my signs there? I am not going to move the camera. I'll ask you to expand it on your phone. So I pulled, how many have I got here? 4 cards. And the first card is from the Angel Number deck. Hi. And it's the, everybody's got a comment, 1111 card. I like that number. There's other cards, so I won't dwell on it. Somehow I ended up with the octopus card for the second day in a row. I guess I've seen other people pull the same card a million times, but they're always talking about a certain, subject or person, so that it tends to... Anyway, let's concentrate on here. And I pulled 2 from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. And the first one is the number 31 card, in the hand, and the subtitle is, The Universe is Your Partner. And the second one is the number 16 card, Empty Well. Empty Well, sounded mumbly. Time to Replenish is the subtitle. So, before I get started, I just wanted to say that, wow, what a day today was. I just said yesterday, oh man, I need to clean my glasses. Well, that's not what I meant, but I was just saying yesterday that it felt like a release of pressure that, well, actually, I was aware of it. It wasn't like it was a surprise that there was pressure. I knew. And anyway, I was saying how nice it was that it broke, and then today woke up feeling all good and happy, went to go outside and opened up my patio door. Patio, it's a tiny little decklet. And it just so reeked of pee out there, and my first thought was, the animals that I've been feeding for years suddenly started peeing? That can't be. And then, I worked in the area called the Tenderloin. I worked at a place that was in the Tenderloin, so I'm familiar with that sort of Skid Row smell. And also from LA, and been to the Skid Row actually there, and it smelled the same. And also, the pee smell is not relegated to your Skid Row type areas, but you learn the difference between an animal pee and a human pee, and this was definitely human pee, and I was like, man, why? I have another room that's right next to my deck, and that has had a pretty strong pee smell outside there. And it's unfortunate because that's a window I leave open a lot for the cat to go in and out. But I don't spend a lot of time in that room, so it's kind of like, But then they got me and, peed on my deck. So, to the best of my knowledge, I didn't think I had a beef with anybody here until I remembered there is someone that is just desperately unhappy when they see me. It's a neighbor, And when I first started seeing him, I said hello like a normal human, and all I got in return was a scowl. And tried it one more time, and then it was just like I could see the curse words coming out of that arrangement of forehead, and yeah, he's don't like me. And it's a shame too, because he has a toddler, and the toddler has run right up to me and started talking to me, and of course I'm going to be nice to the little kid. Well, I was nice to the father, I assume is who he is. And then there's a mother, and when grumpy fella's not really looking or not around, she's nice and friendly and says hello back, and he lets the child talk to me. But when he's around, he grabs the child and yanks him away and goes stomping, away. And I'm just like, okay. So, that's the only person that I'm aware of here that has anything against me. And then when I said, I actually saw a neighbor, and I said, oh yeah, this happened. And he said, oh, I bet I know. I said, I think I know who it is. And he's like, I know who it is too. And I'm like, okay. Calm down. Like, he just verified what I thought. And I think he knows the guy personally, so he may know more about what. Well, it seems pretty obvious. It doesn't even matter, like, what the details of why he dislikes me. He does. Okay. But I decided that was not going to ruin my mood, because, like I said, because of my familiarity with the sidewalk pee smell. It was like you'd get to work every day at this one place that I worked at in San Francisco, and you could see like the fresh pee, like yay, drunk dudes. So and I got nose blind after a while, because why am I gonna let that ruin my routine? I have been here many years, well, longer than them, and just a long time, and I don't, I don't really mix with other people. So I said, you're not gonna take that away from me. I'm going out on my deck. So I did. It was just a interesting sort of feature to the day. And then I guess it was just like one of those days where stuff was just gonna kind of not go quite the way you expected. I had someone that was supposed to be here, and then that didn't work out because of a pretty serious issue on their end, and there wasn't time to find someone else to do what they were supposed to do. So today was kind of shot, and boy, that sure has been happening a lot, and I just have to keep going, okay, guess I'm gonna find something else to do. Except before yesterday, I would have been super, like, I mean, it was irritating, but I would have just been mad, like, both things are recurring, different people, different times, but same crap, different characters, different day. I guess the obvious goal here is not to freak the freak out. So, I mean, things are unresolved. I don't see the point in telling the managers here about it, like, to go, tattle? Like, I don't think they're going to pay any more attention, any better attention to those people than they are me, because I don't want to have to state the obvious, so I won't. But, he won't like them any better than he likes me, so it might make it worse, Sometimes you just gotta I mean, if I could catch him at it, I sit right on the other side of there all the time. I don't have any idea what time of day that happened because, for instance, right now it is like 4 a.m. and I woke up at like, I don't know, 3 or something. But I'm up or not up at all crazy hours around the clock. So I could have been sitting right there sleeping, or I could have been in here, or I could have been in the other room or the bathroom with the fan on. Like, you know, although I hope it was at night, unless they like peed into a cup and brought it with them and threw it, because you can't stand out there in the daytime and pee on someone's deck. Like, I live across from apartments. There's kids here. There's people, like old people, up early out at the crack ass of dawn. Like, I can't believe somebody was standing out there in broad daylight doing a whizzer on my deck. So I don't know. It's just that was interesting. I don't know where to go from there. It's always something around here. So I guess I'll see what these cards are talking about. You know, when I pulled them, or actually I pulled them, it doesn't matter, but I looked at them earlier and I was like, oh, wow. And like now I'm looking at them like, oh, what was I saying? Oh, now I remember. Never mind. Short-term memory loss from cannabis is a myth. Well, it is for me. Anyway, oh great, there's something sticky on here. So I guess I'll go with the angel card first. Actually, no, I guess I won't. I will start with actually I pulled these first, so this was the first card I pulled. So as you can see, that does seem to be a really huge hand. You know what it reminds me of is one of those gigantic statues. God, where even is there that? I think it's in an Asian country that one of them was just like a giant. Actually, I think one just came down that was gigantic, like the size of a skyscraper. This thing was, and I'm pretty sure there's more than one of them around the world. Sort of like that Christ statue in Brazil, Christ the Redeemer. Anyway, this looks like a big gigantic statue hand, but it seems to be catching a heart coming from the sky, and to me, it looks like it's got sort of a band of darker, I don't even know what that color is, burnt yellow, sort of diagonal across it, and it has sort of the suggestion of being a heart. And, like, honestly, I was gonna say it could be going up, like, coming up from the palm, or coming down from the sky into it. But if you look, there's these like strands of, where's my indicator? Energy, I guess, connected to it. It might be just like it was some kind of like supernatural object, so it's got some kind of energy coming off of it that I can't really define other than that, except it does seem to like be in its wake. So what the heck does that mean? It's coming from the statue hand. Oh, the universe is your partner is the subtitle. Okay, so that could make it make more sense. You know, if you haven't, it's not just you like with your hand and energy. It's being sent or something. There is some very slight energy up here, so I guess it's coming up out of the hand. So in the hand doesn't make sense. I'm taking it too literal. Anyway, aside from the picture, in hand to me suggests you've got it in hand, like it's handled. Got a lot of hand. I'm not making puns, but a lot of hand work happening there. And it also suggests confidence. You know, and then, you know, the universe is your partner. That makes me think of that saying that, oh my God, I've seen that since the 1970s. Actually, I haven't seen it for a while, but I have heard people say it, and it's like that thing where when I was having all kinds of trouble, like somebody's walking on a beach and they only see one set of footsteps in the sand behind them, so they're like lamenting to God, when I was having all kinds of trouble, where were you? And God's all, I was here, I was carrying you. That's what it makes me think of, the universe is your partner. And then also this, it's like, it does to me seem like it's coming up out of the hand, so maybe it's the hand of spirit. And you might say to yourself, but if it was the hand of spirit, wouldn't it be coming down from the sky? Not necessarily. You know, I think we get really boxed in by our concepts. Think of the fact that, like, if you're in space, you don't have, like, natural gravity. You don't have Earth up, down, east, west, none of that. So how do you orient yourself? You know, like, those could be in any direction. Put yourself on the planet. Well, you probably are on the planet. But, I mean, I'm in North America. If I start heading, like, south, I'm going to head for, like, the South Pole. But under the planet itself in open space, I mean, there is a direction, and I'm sure it has a lot of numbers involved in a degree symbol and things, but I don't have the expertise to just off the top of my head go, it's blah, 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 that thing. I can tell you that it's not got a direction rightly, not for the lay person. It's just open, free-for-all space, you know? So my point is, even if you're here on the planet, which you very likely are, where the heck else are you gonna be? The direction that, like, spirit is coming from and reaching forth, who said that it's got a rule where it's gotta be? I mean, maybe for the sake of the artist's sense of gravity, it went this way, but it doesn't have to. Time is not a solid, firm thing that we often... It's just easy to think of it that way, but it's more than that. Sorry. I thought my cat was staring at me. I just remembered he's not in the house. That was weird. Okay, so anyway, so whatever. Let's just, we're done with that for now, I guess. And then the other card was Empty Well, and the subtitle for it is Time to Replenish. Seems kind of obvious, but what happened earlier was when I looked at it and I saw the alchemical symbol for the sun, which is a circle with a dot inside of it. You know, because the symbol itself is not going to... symbol itself is generally, you know, small because it's going to be in text. And that's interesting because... the sun, like, the first association I'm going to make is sunrise, you know, or daytime. But with the dawn, that is the new day starting like the whole thing over, like rolling over the what is the word? Why don't they start saying stuff and I can't get to the word and then just lose it? Well, anyway, starting from zero again. Reset. That's not the word I wanted, but that'll work. And then I'm a little noticing this because it's not the number of renewal, which is 111. But you know, what I've noticed about these things is they're very expansive. Like these meanings, they're almost interchangeable, but not entirely. But it will have like a lot of the same qualities. Kind of, sort of, this one, but the ones is what it is for me. And then that sun renewal thing, it just brings me back to this because it looks like bright ass morning. And yesterday when I pulled this card from the Wildly Known Animal Spirit deck, it was, you know, all about just sort of like all about things going on in sort of one hand, not really knowing what the other one's doing, and just because of the fact that it's so dark in the background behind the sky that it seems like they're down pretty deep, so they're like very well camouflaged or just hidden from the surface, you know, without instrumentation. But it wasn't feeling sinister today. Today it was feeling more like over the weekend or on Sunday, I was watching the Sterling Psychic Medium show, and he was talking about how someone asked the question if, like, something about, like, other people's guides helping other people other than their own person, you know? And I have definitely felt like that's happened, and I know I've seen, like, that mediums talk about, yes, that's something that happens, like you can interact with the guides of someone else and, like, co-create whatever it would happen to be, and he's not the only one, so, you know, that makes sense to me. And it's just kind of like cool how there's like all these hands or tentacles that are kind of connecting to the same base unit to the same headquarters, basically. Headquarters. What's with the puns? But it's not, like I said, it's not sinister feeling today, and like this is just like all of the sort of activities that are taking place that this thing is directing and helping direct with all of its arms and things, and you know, it's light colored. There's like a yellow theme happening, which is kind of happy. So like good deeds taking place. And now I'm back to this card. So 1111, and the subtitle for this one is Wish Come True. Well, that's funny because 1111, a lot of people's first association, including mine, is with the twin flame phenomenon, and that is a little bit complicated, but briefly it is when when it comes to spirituality wise, it means like inside of a person joining their divine masculine and divine feminine sides of themselves, which, you know, causes all kinds of understanding for you and the world around you. But then in like there's a romantic sense to it too, or it's not romantic, I guess love is the better word for it, but it talks about two souls that were one soul, or when they are together are one soul, and they can go through many lifetimes together, and they may not be always like a romantic pair. They could be like parent and child, they could be siblings, they could be best friends, they could be co-workers, they could be like anyone you meet in life. But you and that other person are not just mirror reflections of yourselves on the soul level, but twins. And then the joining together, particularly if it's in the or love sense, is intense, because the love is, especially in that way. And then if like everything's going good and, you know, all bells are ringing and it's all happy, then, you know, fire. It's fire. But when, you know, one thing they say is when you meet your twin, because it does for people, it's hard for us to separate that sort of romantic coupling programming. You know, like we tend to only have one setting for that. And if a couple has been together lifetimes and they decide that they want to see what it's like to have like one of the pair dying of cancer, so that's like not romantic. I mean, it's not like I don't know, The Bachelor or whatever. It's real life. That's more like what the experience is about. But, you know, if you get the sort of romantic level in the relationship, bonus, you know, for you will be, not that there's anything wrong with that. But the wish come true with the 1111 to me is like when the twin souls rejoin, that's the ultimate goal. And, you know, then you feel like your wish, like even if it's the sort of superficial romantic level of thinking, it's like your wish come true, but it's not at all superficial. It is, I don't know how to explain it better. There are plenty of twin flame videos out there to look at. Help yourself. So I'm going to read the paragraph. You're in for a lucky break. It may come as happy news, experience, new opportunities, or an exciting acquaintance. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time. It is not a coincidence, but a gift from fate. That's interesting. I like that. So this this almost sounds like you're gonna win the lottery, but I guess in a manner of speaking, that would be what you've done. So moderation is the first key word on here. And one thing I know that is said a lot in those twin flame channels that I mentioned to go ahead and check out is that, like I said, it's intense when it's like a love thing. And one thing they always warn you of is there's a lot of talk about, you know, meeting your twin or re-meeting them, whatever it is. Either from like another lifetime or from this one where I guess there's a tendency to like be drawn together and then bounce apart again, and they could happen, I guess, a number of times or once, whatever, in your current now lifetime, but also something that you do like for eons, where sometimes the separation is you're not even on the same planet, or one's dead one's alive on the same planet, and there's just all these combinations, and the rejoining is like a big deal. But with the loved ones, they say that it's so intense that you're just all, oh, it's ecstasy, and you're just like, you lose yourself, I guess, in the other people. So they say, like, exercise moderation when you meet. Like, just remember, like, don't go overboard, because, even if it wasn't this big woo thing, like, you don't want to just, like, burn out in the first week, like, flare out. Patience. Well, in any relationship, you got to have that, right? If you want it to stay working. Oh, this time it's not flow, it's flowing. Does that mean a pair flowing? Self-realization. You can't even get anywhere near your twin until you have done the self-realization and really figured yourself out pretty well. Manifestation also does not happen without the good self-realization. The falls into the the black hole, the dark night of the soul, down down in the well. There's light at the end of that there tunnel. It's the alchemical sun. That means that, that you can actually fall down the well and pull yourself back up. You have all this actually strength and power, and you have resources. Like, you have your Akash to go, direct to, refer back to, and find the wherewithal and the knowledge and whatever strength you need to pull yourself up out of the hole and to the sun. And that's what the alchemy is all about, is like taking the lead, your sort of undeveloped, unrealized soul and knowledge about yourself, I guess, and then suddenly clicking on to, like, oh shoot, this is something I need to know. I need to pay attention to this. But when you do those things, when you do the work, manifestation comes a lot easier. But we've always been able to do it, just like, I guess we've been unconscious about it, so it's not. Manifestation happens really fast, especially right now. Like, as time goes on, I guess more of us are getting the hang of it, and it's just easier and faster. So, I mean, I've noticed that. I have to, thank goodness I've been putting in the practice on putting the brakes on my thinking, because I don't want to. I'm actually like, wait, don't say that. You don't want that yet. So that's interesting. That's like a come on. Well, I don't know. That's a point for me, because usually I don't get that stuff that quickly. I don't cotton onto it and am able to, like, put it into practice that easy. Well, that's a manifestation too. Like, seems like that just all, I think maybe that's normal. It just all of a sudden started happening really fast. Maybe it's a combination of the two. Maybe schmaybe. Gateway. I think Stargate, when they say gateway, or everyone's favorite word, portal, Everybody thinks everything everywhere is a portal, and apparently portals have a specific definition, and by definition they're not going to be everywhere and everything. I'm sure there's other names for whatever aperture spirits can slide into this dimension through, but when the pair joins, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and I guess this is in particular when it comes to like the love and the it doesn't matter like the heterosexual or same-sex couple, but when the couple comes together, that would create a type of portal, if I understand it right. Like something happens, something big, something major on a spiritual level, that it's not just for the two people. I don't think. I think that it has a much broader effect than that. I think that it's like a small nuclear bomb of love and light for everyone in the near vicinity, near or far, actually. I don't know how those reverberations work, but I think they go pretty far on that level, because I'm thinking they don't have solidity to run into stuff and clog and things like that. Taking action, I feel like you don't get there without taking action, and then along the way you sharpen your skills with the taking action, with like learning how to manifest and learning how to not manifest, the self-realization it takes to get there, the flowing. I mean, really, whatever happens, personally, I think, and it's something that I'm not perfect at, but I am aware of it, and I want to change it. Like, I just don't want, when something happens, like the things I described today, I don't want them to stop me in my tracks. I don't want to become like an obstruction in the flow. I want to flow with the flow. So that's something else that I don't know if it took practice. I think for me it was more like it was something everyone already knows to do. You start doing a thing that you enjoy doing, and you just sort of, the rest of the world around you turns off, except for like the football game you're watching, or the thing you're doing with your hands, or the book, like whatever it is that has your attention. That's when you get in that flow state. Like you don't have the distractions and whatever else around you intruding on like your concentration, your focus. And so, I'm focusing on that flowing, because it is like, it's almost like you already have advanced so many steps that you've gone from flow to flowing. Okay, so I'm like in a choke. I think I'm going to stop, but I think I'm done too. Thank you and good night. Oh, I missed.